Two young lovers in the prime of their lives.
They started off as high school sweethearts.
They plan to stay together forever.
He saved enough money to buy her a ring.
They had the look of a strong marriage, and they had the makings of a strong marriage.
Until a horrific discovery brought their dreams crashing down around them.
That's a body.
The victim's head, arms, and legs had all been taken from the body.
I almost went into a panic mode thinking, do we have a serial killer?
In a race against the clock, detectives must solve a puzzling murder mystery where the main players aren't who they seem to be.
I don't know if we're going to be able to solve this case.
It's been 2 years now, and I'm still just boiling with anger.
To cut someone's head off, that's really personal. That's really sending a message.
I'm not lying to you, and I'm not trying to hurt you.
October 29th, 2012. It's a quiet Monday evening in Mechanicsburg, Illinois, a small farming community just east of Springfield.
A gentleman drove past this creek bed on Griffiths Creek Road, and he was looking for deer in the creek bed.
As he passed an area that he normally does go hunting, he saw something that looked unusual.
The man slows down to get a better look, but he can't make out the shadowy object lying near the creek bed.
Whatever it was that was out there was bothering him, so much so that he decided to call up a neighbor.
They said, hey, can you come down here? Because I saw something there. I don't know what it is. I have a kind of an uneasy feeling about it.
A short time later, the man's neighbor arrives at the location. Carefully, the pair descends into the culvert. What they discover stops them dead in their tracks.
At first, they thought it was a deer, but through closer examination, they said, this is not our usual animal here.
Took a closer look, and sure enough, it was basically a torso.
That's a body right there.
A body that was missing head, hands, and legs.
Yeah, let's get out of here and call Byron.
They decided to call a friend of theirs that is in law enforcement to help them say, hey, you know, we have a body here. You should take a look at this.
They didn't tell me that there was parts missing. They just told me that they thought they had a body. It's pretty shocking.
Police Chief Brian Honey radios dispatch and informs them of the gruesome discovery. Before long, the area is swarming with law enforcement.
When we saw the scene and we looked at what we had, we were baffled on where to start.
All right, we got a crime lab on the way.
Yes, sir, we do.
A medical examiner's office as well.
Yes, sir. Both of them are around.
What could we be dealing with here? We have an apparent African-American, no head, no arms, no legs, discarded on the side of a very remote rural road.
As they continue to examine the crime scene, a chilling thought enters the minds of some of the investigators.
We've all seen the serial killers where they get the first one, and it's like, now they have the taste of blood. When is the second one going to be? We felt our clock was ticking.
But when the clock finally strikes zero, the picture that emerges is almost unimaginable. A picture of two young lovers on a collision course with evil.
You think you've seen everything, and there's always one more case that tops it. And this was the case that topped it.
Born in 1990 in the close-knit Chicagoland suburb of Crete, Illinois, Watasha Denton's childhood was as American as apple pie.
She comes from a good family. Her dad is a military man. Her mom was a stay-at-home mother.
She was a very loving girl, very sweet girl, straight-A student.
Though Watasha was kind-hearted and attractive, she was also very competitive and drove herself to succeed at everything she did.
She likes to excel. She is a bit of a perfectionist, and perfection is defined by her. I believe that that is part of what makes her tick.
I do is I got tickets to the game that I'm gonna be in, so I want y'all to come.
Watasha's competitive fire wasn't reserved strictly for school.
I'll talk to y'all later, all right?
When it came to boys, Watasha always seemed to get what she wanted.
Hey, I didn't know you was here.
Yeah, I'm just studying.
And in high school, the boy she wanted more than any other was Raymel McCaster, known to friends and family as Ray.
Everybody loved Ray. He was an athlete, nice looking. He was wanted by many women. So Watasha having an opportunity to even woo him and kind of settle him down was a big feat.
Ray was a good catch for Watasha. He was the exact opposite of her. She was more of a quiet person, driven, focused, smart. He was more of the ladies' man.
Though Watasha had done everything in her power to make Ray her steady boyfriend, the outgoing all-state wrestler still wanted to play the field.
A lot of girls liked him. And sometimes when you're young, you do like to experience different personalities in women and see who really fits you.
Unwilling to play second fiddle to anyone, Watasha decided to break things off with Ray. And when Ray left for college in 2009, the relationship seemed over for good. But after a year away, Ray couldn't shake the feeling that he'd let the love of his life slip through his fingers. And before his sophomore year began, Ray dropped out of school and headed home, determined to win back Watasha's heart.
So he returns back to the south suburbs of Chicago, and this time Ray said, "Hey, I'm not gonna let you go. I'm definitely here for you."
He mentioned that he's a changed guy and he really want to make this work, and they started dating again.
Once back in Crete, Ray joined the National Guard. During basic training, he made another big decision.
He saved enough money to buy her a ring. So we ended up taking Tasha to his graduation, and that's when he proposed to her.
In October of 2010, Watasha and Ray officially tied the knot. Shortly after that, the happy 20-year-olds moved to the capital city of Springfield to start their new life together.
Watasha was a student at the University of Illinois in Springfield. Raymel was a national reservist. He was also employed. And the couple's plan was for them to stay here until Watasha could ultimately graduate with her bachelor's degree.
Ooh, baby, this thing is heavy. Where do you want me to put this?
Put it in the back, honey.
Oh.
The couple soon became active in church and grew particularly close to their pastor, Dion Kreitz.
Pastor Dion, don't put it there, because she's already going to tell you to put it somewhere else. You might as well hand that over to me. Okay.
And when Ray and Watasha moved from their starter apartment to a bigger place, Pastor Kreitz was there to lend a hand.
Lots of boxes, lots of boxes. Oh my God. But it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. They inspired me because they were young, they were in love with one another.
Well, you know what they say? Happy wife, happy life.
Fast forward to October of 2012. As Ray and Watasha approached their second anniversary, their future seemed brighter than ever.
It was clear that they were making this work and they were happy and they were in love.
But no one in Springfield could imagine the terrifying events that were about to engulf Ray and Watasha. Events that would send a tidal wave of fear and terror washing over the entire community.
Car crashes, airplane crashes, homicides, suicides, you name it, I've seen it. This particular case, well, I had never seen anything like it.
After rekindling their high school romance, highly motivated college student Watasha Denton and handsome National Guardsman Ray McCaster have tied the knot and have settled into a blissful life together in Springfield, Illinois. For the perfectionist in Watasha, having Ray put a ring on her finger was further proof that in the game of life, she was one of the winners.
When he proposed to her, that solidified everything, his love for her, and so that just made her happy.
You know I love you, right?
I love you too.
It was a perfect marriage, so to speak.
But just 3 days after the couple's second wedding anniversary, a gruesome discovery sets in motion a chain of events that proves the dream life Watasha envisioned for her and Ray was far from a reality.
Is it drag marks?
Could be.
The body had been found right off of a road. The body had been mutilated. The victim's head, arms, and legs had all been taken from the body.
Not that far to dump a body here would be convenient.
The size and shape of the torso suggests the body is that of a male, but due to the dismemberment, further identification is nearly impossible.
My first inclination was somebody was trying to conceal the identity of the deceased.
There was some evidence on the guardrail of blood as if the body was dragged over the guardrail and then dumped at that location from possibly a vehicle off the road.
With the headless torso offering few clues as to where or why the crime occurred, investigators decide to scour the surrounding area for evidence.
We spent that night and then most of the next day going through the woods, going through the grass around the body.
They had collected paper, napkins, garbage, anything that's physically there.
After hours of collecting possible evidence, one thing remains unaccounted for: the victim's missing body parts.
We searched all the areas around that creek, and close by is the Sangamon River. The search and rescue group, we didn't locate anything. And we speculated that, maybe this could be a hit or maybe drug related just by the viciousness of it.
I thought to myself, this is gonna be a tough one. I don't know if we're gonna be able to solve this case.
Investigators hope an autopsy can shed some light on the victim's identity and perhaps offer additional information about how the crime was committed.
Detective Roach. Hey, doctor, yeah.
The biggest mystery of all was we didn't know who the person was. It was extremely frustrating for us. We had a body, and the autopsy showed no cause of death. So, how did this person die? There was no obvious stab wounds or gunshot wounds in the torso.
Yeah, I think it's either blunt force trauma to the head or a gunshot to the head, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Since there is no head and no other inflicting wounds on the body, it could have been a head wound, and that's why the head is missing.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, doctor.
The coroner's findings also indicate that after the killer murdered the victim, they removed the head and other appendages with some sort of saw.
Something with teeth and probably something that would have a rapid movement because they were very clean cut.
But it looks like it's going to be a reciprocating saw or some kind of high-speed saw.
This manner of death seems plausible to detectives, but without a positive ID of the victim, the investigation is stuck in first gear.
One of the most important parts of starting a murder investigation is identifying the victim. And in this case, we had no teeth, we had no fingerprints, we'd have to rely solely on DNA.
All right, he's going to email that or fax it over. We'll get it here in just about an hour.
Investigators submit a sample of the victim's DNA to a federal database.
They have a repository, which is a national database for DNA. It's called CODIS. If you've been convicted of a crime and you're a felon, they put that on file.
They were unable to discover a match. Obviously, this victim had no criminal background to match them to the DNA at the crime scene.
With the CODIS search yielding no matches, police reach out to another organization that maintains a DNA database.
We knew that anybody that goes into the military service will have a DNA profile.
We were able to have a test done at the lab on the East Coast through the Department of Defense.
Hey, I just got a hit back from DOD.
On November 7th, DNA analysts with the Department of Defense inform investigators in Springfield that they've made a match.
And the results were, it was Ray McCaster.
22-year-old Ray McCaster, the star athlete, the National Guardsman, the happy, doting husband.
Ray was a good kid. And if you ask anybody, they'll tell you the same thing. Never in a million years would I believe that someone would take this young man's life like that. Unbelievable that someone would think so less of him that they would murder him in such a way.
But who would want to kill Ray McCaster, and why? The answer to that question would stun not only police, but everyone in Springfield as well. The Illinois State Police Division of Forensic Services performed the initial analysis of Ray McCaster's DNA. This state organization oversees the second largest system of crime laboratories in the United States, trailing only the FBI. It's November of 2012, and a gruesome discovery along a rural highway has police outside Springfield, Illinois on the hunt for a killer.
A dismembered body discarded 15 miles from the city in a remote area. The town was on pins and needles. They wanted answers.
The first part of the job was to identify the body, and obviously, before they can look for suspects, they need to look for who their victim is.
DNA analysis by the Department of Defense helped police determine that the body is that of 22-year-old Raymel McCaster. But what was the mutilated body of a happily married National Guardsman doing in a culvert 15 miles outside of town?
He's a married man, has a good job. He's in the military, and so why does this man end up in a rural ditch, beheaded and dismembered? We had no reason. It was a total mystery.
In an effort to solve that mystery, detectives reach out to Ray's parents in the Chicago suburb of Crete.
Folks, I'm Detective Roche, Detective Hayes.
But before they can interview them, they must deliver the heartbreaking news.
There's really no easy way to say this. And
It's terrible. There's no good way to do it. And talking to someone about, their deceased loved one, especially when it was such a difficult case.
We found Ray and he's passed away.
It was almost as your chest could cave in. You can't breathe. You're losing vision.
Can you think of anyone that would want to hurt Ray?
No, Ray was a good kid.
Ray's father, Marcel, explains that his most recent conversation with Watasha 3 weeks ago had given him pause.
She said something about him doing drugs. I didn't believe any of it.
She said that Raymel had ran off. I said, ran off? What do you mean? He went to St. Louis with some homeless guy.
She had told his father Ray had started running with a bad crowd. He was going out and partying and drinking all the time, and some of the people that he was running with were using narcotics, and that Ray was participating in using narcotics.
For investigators, Marcel's statement points them back to their original theory about the crime.
Do you think that it could be a homicide from a drug or some kind of gang activity?
However, Ray's father finds the drug angle hard to fathom.
Is that something that Ray had done in the past?
No, of course not.
As a father, that you know how you raise your child. And that's why it didn't add up. Drugs and Raymel doesn't add up.
We'll show ourselves out.
Is it possible Ray's family is simply in denial about his supposed drug use? His pastor, Dion Kreitz, is equally skeptical of the allegations.
To me, it's not Ray. Ray was very soft-spoken, wasn't high-strung, one of the nicest kids, a nice kid, good boy.
Investigators decide they need to speak with the person who was closer to Ray than anyone else in the world. The same person who seems to be the source of the drug allegations. His wife, Watasha. They find her at the couple's home in Springfield.
Hello.
When we first got to the residence, we identified who we were. She was very polite, very calm.
Judging from Watasha's reserved demeanor, investigators suspect she has no idea her husband is dead. Worried that news of Ray's murder will render her too distraught to talk, they hold off on delivering the bad news until they've spoken to her about Ray's alleged drug use.
We told her that we were contacted by the Illinois Army National Guard and that Ray had not appeared for numerous drills at this point, and she agreed to come down to the sheriff's office with us. You want something to drink?
She was polite, she was cooperative. I mean, she seemed very talkative and didn't have anything to hide.
According to Watasha, shortly after the couple moved into their new house, Ray began experimenting with drugs, and his behavior quickly took a dark turn.
You just get really, really bad. You take the truck and you just leave. Sometimes you won't come back 2 or 3 days.
Late night partying, use of illegal narcotics, alcohol abuse, physical abuse from Ray to her.
Watasha claims that despite Ray's erratic behavior, she was unwilling to give up on their marriage.
Watasha thought that she can change Ray. She wanted him to be a certain way, to be a certain husband to her.
In the fall of 2012, the abuse only escalated. and her hope of salvaging the marriage began to fade. By October, she'd had enough.
October 26th. But it made 2 years we've been married. And I kicked him out on the 24th.
When he left, what did he take?
Everything.
Tasha says that one night, car pulls up to the house, and that Ray gets in the car, took everything he had with him, and they went to St. Louis.
At this point in the interview, detectives decide to tell Watasha the heartbreaking truth. Ray isn't in St. Louis.
He's dead. His DNA was confirmed by the Department of Defense. I'm not lying to you, and I'm not trying to hurt you.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Here you go. Want some water?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
That's not right.
Watasha seems devastated by the news of her husband's death, but investigators slowly begin to notice something odd about her behavior.
She would cry, and then what I noticed is when the detective would answer a question, she would turn it off immediately.
That's when Watasha made a comment that detectives found truly unusual.
I was trying to hold on to a marriage that really wasn't worth saving, but it was just the fact that I've never failed at anything in my life. Never. I've never failed at anything.
For her to indicate to the police officers that she never failed is revealing, because she didn't want to fail at marriage. She didn't want to fail at life.
Could Watasha's unyielding quest for perfection have driven Ray to use drugs and into the clutches of a deadly narcotics ring? In a case where leads are nearly impossible to come by, investigators have no choice but to explore that theory.
We always kept our minds open to another possible scenario, but that evidence it did not present itself.
We had so many questions and no answers.
In Springfield, Illinois, police are investigating the grisly murder of 22-year-old National Guardsman Ray McCaster. In an interview, Ray's widow, Watasha, claims that her husband had recently started using drugs and abusing her. Ever the perfectionist, Watasha tried to change Ray, an effort which investigators now wonder may have driven Ray further into the world of narcotics.
The fact that she kicked him out prior to his disappearance showed or indicated to the police officers that, she's done. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore.
But even though Watasha and Ray's relationship had its problems, investigators are shocked by Watasha's cool reaction to the news of Ray's murder.
No real emotion, no questions, no, oh my gosh, my husband's gone. None of those questions.
And when investigators speak to Ray and Watasha's pastor, Dion Kreitz, about the allegations of drug use and physical abuse, he has a decidedly different take on things.
No, I don't remember that part. Ray was kind of a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. He didn't need a lot to make him happy. He just loved life.
180 degrees different than the way she's describing him. The pastor described Ray, as everybody described Ray, as one of the nicest guys you've ever met.
After speaking with Pastor Kreitz, investigators reach out to Ray's superiors with the Illinois National Guard to see if they knew anything about Ray's alleged drug use.
What can I do for you? Sergeant, I wonder if we can ask you a few questions about one of your soldiers, Ray McCaster. I was wondering if you have any problems with him. Has he been coming in intoxicated or high?
Oh, no. He's been actually one of our model soldiers.
His supervising officer in the National Guard said that he wished that he had more of him in his platoon.
Has he mentioned anything about maybe troubles at home? Maybe his wife, Watasha?
No, but funny you should mention that.
According to the guardsmen, shortly after Ray disappeared, Watasha made an unexpected visit to the National Guard outpost.
It would have been late October, early November. She packed up all of his military equipment, his uniforms, and took him up to the Guard unit in Robinson.
The guardsman's statement immediately raises red flags about Watasha's version of events.
If she kicked him out, it is odd that she would go to the armory and submit his belongings as opposed to trying to find Ray to give Ray his belongings.
But what Ray's superior tells detectives next gives them even more cause for concern. It involves an incident that happened a few weeks prior to Ray's disappearance.
They were at a cookout of the guard unit up in Chicago.
Ray told one of his colleagues, if he ever ended up missing, look at Watasha.
And then everybody kind of laughs, and he's like, no, I'm serious.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. If you need anything else, let me know.
After speaking to the National Guardsmen, investigators believe Watasha's initial statement was false and that she, not some vengeful drug dealer, may be responsible for the crime.
Tox screen's in.
What do we got?
That suspicion is further cemented on November 10th, when the coroner's office releases the findings of their toxicology analysis of Ray's blood.
When the toxicology was done, if there was no evidence of any narcotics in the bloodstream, he was in the National Guard. He had submitted to chemical testing for narcotics there, came up negative.
But the toxicology report does indicate a high quantity of one unusual substance in Ray's blood system.
Tetrahydrozoline.
What is that?
In the autopsy, he had very high levels of tetrahydrozoline. We found out that the substance tetrahydrozoline is a poison.
It's also the primary active ingredient in a common household product.
The autopsy reveals traces of the chemicals that are found in Visine.
If enough tetrahydrozoline is consumed by an individual, it could cause harm to them, could make them sick, and could lead to death.
Though the toxicology report states that the amount of tetrahydrozoline in Ray's system never reached lethal levels, it suggests someone had tried to poison him.
No other drugs.
Dad was right.
Yep, looks like he was telling the truth.
We look at all the evidence, and then we say, what does this evidence point to? And all the evidence in this case pointed to Watasha Denton.
On November 11th, 2012, investigators decide to place Watasha under 24-hour surveillance.
There she is.
Yeah.
And no sooner have they done so than they make a series of startling discoveries.
When we do surveillance, oftentimes we'll do what we call trash rips, where when the person puts the trash out, when the trash company comes, we'll stop and take the trash away.
They found Ray's driver's license and also credit cards that were cut up.
Ray's driver's license and credit cards aren't the only items Watasha has thrown away.
Visine bottles, anywhere around a dozen of them.
A receipt for a 50 feet of tarp for a hand dolly cart.
Containers for rubber gloves, like surgical style gloves. And then receipts showing that she bought cleaning items, air freshener, lots of this material. Again, very unusual for just cleaning your house.
But the final item pulled from Watasha's trash might be the most peculiar of all.
There were a number of flooring tiles that were found in the garbage outside of Watasha's home.
There was evidence that she had ripped up the entire bathroom floor and replaced a new floor down.
Not only that, but at least one of the discarded tiles seems to have blood on it.
In Watasha's case, those were definite red flags.
But if Watasha was responsible for her husband's murder, what caused her to dismember his body? And how did she do it? Little did anyone know, an inconspicuous piece of paper would provide evidence that would blow this case wide open.
I can't explain why it was there. If we didn't find that receipt, we probably would not have had the conclusion in this case that we did.
It's been nearly a month since 22-year-old Ray McCaster's mutilated body was found lying at the bottom of an embankment. According to Ray's young widow, Watasha, Ray had begun using drugs, and his murder was likely the work of an angry drug dealer.
There was no other plausible explanation for who could have done this to Ray Mel, other than the fact that perhaps he had exposed himself to the type of people that would have done this.
But when the toxicology report reveals no drugs in Ray's system, except for a massive amount of tetrahydrozoline, an active chemical in over-the-counter eye drops, investigators begin to suspect Watasha may be the real killer.
There is no evidence that supports Watasha's allegation that he was a part of any drug conspiracy, and the finger starts to point at her.
In an effort to link Watasha to the crime, detectives put her under 24-hour surveillance. On November 11, 2012, they uncover a cache of suspicious items.
All his ID cards are found. Every single one, there are scissors or a knife cut through his head. bags of empty bottles of Visine.
In their search in Watasha's trash, they also found tile from the bathroom floor.
There was a piece of the tile from the floor which actually seemed to have blood on it.
The next morning, investigators deliver the tile to the forensic lab for DNA analysis. Within hours, they receive the results.
That tile revealed evidence of Ray's DNA from his blood.
Could this be proof that Watasha murdered and dismembered Ray in their bathroom, then disposed of his body outside of town? Even with this trove of circumstantial evidence, the question of motive is still unclear.
Their relationship seemed to be on the surface just an ordinary young married couple. It didn't make sense, really, that she would be capable of this. And very calmly and methodically, evidently, cutting off her husband's head and hands and feet.
For investigators, the lack of motive isn't the only problem with the case against Watasha.
How could one person be responsible? I mean, even just a torso, I would estimate weighed about 180 to 200 pounds.
The thought was it would take more than one person to do this crime, to sever the head, sever the legs, sever the hands, and then dispose of the body there.
In an effort to unearth both a motive and potential accomplice, police continue to sift through the trash removed from Watasha's garbage cans, as well as some of the debris collected at the crime scene.
Hey, come take a look at this.
What you got?
It's from this latter pile of potential evidence that detectives discover a bloody scrap of paper.
Or a reciprocating saw.
That matches up.
Time and date stamp.
Let me give them a call so we can get a surveillance footage of that.
There was a receipt to a local Walmart that I believe was October 25th, which was just a few days before we found the body.
It was significant because of the purchases that were made: a reciprocating saw, a non-insulated respirator mask, cleaning equipment, some rubber gloves.
Though the items were paid for in cash, the receipt has a timestamp on it, 11:53 p.m. Investigators head to the Walmart and ask to see the surveillance footage from the checkout area at the time of the purchase. It doesn't take long to find what they're looking for.
The video showed an African-American female at a register purchasing the items that are listed right on the receipt.
And she's buying a reciprocating saw and a respirator mask at midnight. Very odd thing for a young lady to be buying at that time of night.
That young woman was Watasha McCaster.
November 26, 2012. Armed with this new evidence, investigators execute a search of Watasha and Ray's home while she is in class. Once inside, they find even more incriminating evidence.
One of the things that we recovered was her computer. We looked at some of her searches, and she searched items such as how to kill someone and get away with it, hitmen for hire.
Police also find Watasha's diary. On every page, it's clear Watasha wanted Ray to be more than just a good husband.
She wanted him to be that perfect husband.
She had expectations of how the relationship should go, and Ray was not meeting her expectations.
Number one, you to talk to me without putting me on a time limit. Number two, you to be romantic. Number three, be happy to spend time with me. Number four, work out with me. Number five, cater to me for once.
And according to a calendar police find in the kitchen, Watasha even set a deadline for Ray to meet all of her demands.
The date, October 26, was completely blackened out. October 26 was significant for this couple because this was their anniversary. Maybe she was giving him an opportunity to get it together by October 26. Maybe that was, in her mind, the cutoff.
I think she was not satisfied with her marriage, that her attempt to change her husband was not working. She had decided in her mind that she was not going to let him make it to his second-year anniversary, and she was going to do everything she can to make sure that didn't happen.
On the evening of November 26th, 22-year-old Watasha McCaster is formally charged with her husband's murder.
She was charged with first-degree murder. She was charged with dismembering a human body. She was charged with concealing a homicidal death, and she was charged with obstructing justice.
For the victims' friends and family, the news is devastating.
that hurts. You know, it's like your heart getting snatched out.
I'm still having a problem trying to put everything together because you never seen this blow up. You never seen an explosion.
As Watasha sits in a jail cell awaiting trial, little does she know that questions have already begun to swirl about the physical evidence, a possible accomplice, and whether Watasha McCaster is a natural-born killer or a woman wrongfully accused.
I've actually have counseled her. Been to the county jail a few times. She said, Pastor, I didn't do it. I said, well, you know, God knows. God knows who done it. He knows all about it. And she cried. She said, I didn't do it, Pastor. I said, if you say you didn't do it, I believe you. But God, remember this, God knows who done it. And he's gonna hold that person accountable for that young man's life.
March 26, 2014. 14 months after being charged with the brutal murder of her husband, Ray Mel, 24-year-old Watasha McCaster is led into a Springfield, Illinois courtroom to stand trial for the crime. In their opening arguments, prosecutors assert that the mild-mannered co-ed seated in front of the jury was in fact an unyielding perfectionist.
The life that she wanted, she didn't have that, so she tried to make it happen, and when she realized that she was failing at it, she snapped.
Her relationship with Ray was going a direction that she didn't want it to go.
Failure was something that, in her personality, she couldn't handle.
According to prosecutors, Watasha tried to poison Ray with Visine for weeks, but when that didn't work, she sought out alternative ways to murder her husband.
She was gonna try to kill him, and the Visine didn't work. She was gonna hire a hitman. That didn't work. We believe she then shot him and then had to figure out how to dispose of the body.
I think she killed him, disassembled him over the period of a couple of days, and dumped his body, thinking that nobody would ever find out. Within a day or two, she's getting rid of his clothes. She rips out her bathroom tile. She takes his IDs, his driver's license, his credit cards, and throws them in the trash. I mean, this isn't a coincidence.
She was gonna complete this goal of killing her husband and him not making it to that second anniversary.
To support their argument, prosecutors introduced the Walmart surveillance video and the bloody receipt tying Watasha to the crime scene. Though many of Watasha's late-night purchase items were never found, including the saw, prosecutors are able to introduce her personal diary, as well as the chilling search history found on her computer.
It's a series of little bits of evidence that, when looked at in the entire picture, point to no one else but Watasha Denton, and her acting alone in committing this crime.
When it's their turn, the defense argues that Watasha wasn't capable of murdering Ray and disposing of his body all by herself.
It seemed unbelievable that she by herself would be able to move the body, would be able to transport the body to the scene where it was found.
Prosecutors counter that there were any number of ways Watasha could have single-handedly disposed of Ray's body.
How would she have disposed the body if he weighed over 200 pounds? Look, she could have done it. She could put it on the dolly. She could have tied him up. She could have done all these things to dispose of the body, and she could have done it.
Watasha's defense also points out what appears to be a glaring hole in the prosecution's case: the lack of a murder weapon, and therefore an undetermined cause of death.
You don't know anything. All you have is a body, some pieces of paper, and that's it. There is nothing at this point that is directly linking the murder of Ray McCaster to his wife.
It's a powerful argument, but one to which prosecutors have a surprising response. They call one of Watasha's classmates from the University of Illinois to testify. Under oath, Sam Thomas recalls a favor Watasha asked of him via a text message 5 days before Ray's body was found.
Her story was that she was in the National Guard, but she hadn't been trained to shoot yet, and she wanted to do some shooting with her father. Asked if he would loan a pistol to her.
Like I told you, it's a standard automatic handgun.
He gave her the gun with 6 rounds of ammo on October 24th. The gun was returned to him on October 25th, missing 2 of those rounds.
We don't have his head. We can't show that the cause of death was a bullet wound to the head, but we know that there's 2 bullets missing, and we obtained the gun.
They tried their best, but they never found the remains.
Will Sam Thomas's surprise testimony swing momentum back in favor of the prosecution? Or has the defense created enough reasonable doubt in the minds of jurors? On April 1st, 2014, the jury retires to decide Watasha's fate.
The jury deliberation took 7 hours, and that's pretty long. And people worry that the longer the deliberation is, the less likely of a conviction.
Finally, the jury delivers their verdict.
When the jury returned, she was convicted and guilty of all charges.
She was sentenced to 78 years in prison. Her reaction to the verdict was like her reaction to everything else in this case. Not much of one. No real emotion, just stood there and listened to the verdict.
But even with Watasha behind bars, those closest to this young couple still have a hard time understanding how things went so sour so fast.
I'm a firm believer in an eye for an eye. Probably should get done the same way you did him, you know? I mean, there were so many other ways you could have went about this. She wanted to just wipe him off the earth. Like, would nobody care about Raymel if Raymel was gone? That's how she did it.
If you want to be married, you have to put perfection aside.